Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. We got a 2006 Honda Accord. Where was I going with that? It needs a front brake job, and I thought I'd bring you along. That's where I was going with that. Forgot what we were doing. For uno momento. What's an SMA video with, or an SMA channel without a brake video? I haven't had a brake video in a while, I don't think. But they're all kind of the same. Or similar. This one's on a Honda Accord. I know a lot of folks driving the Accord. Alright, yank off the caliper. Likely one of Honda's best cars, I think, ever made. I like the Accord myself. Caliper looks nice and clean. I do have a pair of vice grips here. We're going to do all old school type repairs. These are metal pistons, so I do not fear pushing them in with a pair of vice grips or a C-clamp. We'll give her a little squeeze. Let her travel back in. Open the bleeder if you feel inclined to do so. Also make sure your brake fluid reservoir isn't completely overflowing with fluid, otherwise you're going to push it all out on the floor. Once that's done, I'm going to use my little caliper hook. I'm going to hang her up out of the way here. Maybe. Look it in the right side there, fella. There we go. Get that out of the way, and then we'll buzz our caliper bracket off with the 17 mil swivel socket, guaranteed to cut you in the teeth. Wrong way. Take them out. Pull that out. The pads are getting down there pretty good. Pretty close. Could have got a few more miles out of them, but apparently they are shaking like crazy in the steering wheel. It's a young man that drives this thing, and she gets driven pretty hard, we'll say. The old Honda Accord reminds me of some 80s rap songs. I think it was our boy Skilo. He's singing about the old Honda Accord, you know, watching him drive by at night. You guys know the song. We talked about Roscoe's for chicken and waffles, I think it was, and said, what about the Honda Accord? Used to watch him drive by at night till I got bored. But not no more, really, that's for sure, cause I got a million honeys knocking on my door. I think that's how it went. That shows like the era of rap music I grew up in. That's got to be some classic like 90s rap music. And of course, well, we're in that era. We can't forget about Sir Mix-a-Lot. You know, Baby Got Bagged talks about Jane Fonda. You know, your girlfriend rolls a Honda, plain workout take my Fonda. Fonda ain't got a motor in the back of her Honda. Come on, you gotta know that song. Don't act like you don't. I said your hater kinda don't want none unless you got buns, son. Alright, back to reality. I think those are the only Honda rap songs I know. There's probably more. There's not many country songs, and certainly the Man in Black, Johnny Cash, I don't think he's sung much about the Hondas. To be honest with you, he's probably more of a Chevrolet man. Or a Ford guy. Actually, he was a GM guy, wasn't he? Can't think of it. Maybe you guys know some more modern day Honda rap music. There we're a little toot of the fluid film. And pop our rotor on. We'll line up the screw holes even though the screws are MIA in this one. Not a big deal. side. Let's go get our bracket cleaned up. The Caliper slide pins in this one are stuck like a banshee. You know how stuck banshees get. Let's finish yanking that one out. Very gingerly pull the rubber off. Looks like perhaps a lack of lubrication got it stuck in the hole. So we're just going to take, as long as they're not frozen too bad, clamper in the side of the vise here. Hopefully I don't fall in my can. Oh, that one's tiger tight. Alright, plan B. Son of a monkey. Let's clamper in like this. Give her a little bit of that. The only problem with magnetic lights. See if we can't give it a little. Oh, she's snug. I mean, real snug. You gotta be careful, you can snap it off. Last thing you want to do is break her off down inside there. Give her a push the other way a little bit. Oh no, there you go, work it, girl. Let me get us some spray. I don't know if it's gonna help us or not because it's seized up way down inside. I'll give her a little toot under the rubber. Alright, that's about long enough to let it sit. Probably if I turned it upright and let gravity help us. Oh, you can't clamp it like that, Mr. O. I'll really get a good purchase on here, best we can. We'll come down on this end. Yeah, be careful. Cast iron gets a little funny when you start giving it the squeeze. There you go. Underneath that rubber again. If you just want to give up at this point, just go buy new calipers. They typically come with brackets. We'll just get it working pretty good. Then we'll try to wiggle it out. Probably good enough. This is where I usually fall on the floor. Try to avoid that. I don't know. So pull. Give it the classic pull and twist. Come on, little fella. Oh, I can feel myself slipping. Oh, baby, yeah, here she goes. I think it's coming though. I see progress. And the baby is born. Get the rubber off there. Beautiful. Definitely a lack of the lube. Well, we're over here. Clamp her back in there. This caliper here is not in too bad a shape, so we're going to go old school flat file, square file, just enough to bust the rust off them. Works pretty well. It's got a pretty aggressive file. You're not looking to remove material other than rust material, I guess. I mean, you don't. Well, that looks good. In my dad's shop, we had all Wilton vices. Those were nice. This is just kind of a cheapie. I've had it for a long time. Since in 05, I think, when I bought that. Back in 05, I had to put a couple sets of jaws on it, but it does the job. There. Good enough. We'll let old Roger talk to us. There she is. Yeah, still runs like a champ. Today's show is brought to you by Dorman. Said no mechanic show ever. One of my viewers sent me that little guy. Says it cost him a good deal at the auction to get it. He thought for sure it would look great in my shop, which I will display it proudly. So I'm gonna fill that up with the old brake. Oh gosh, what are you thinking? The old brake clean, and then I just use a drill bit, one that fits very snugly in here. Well, as snugly as they can. I don't put it on a drill. I just put it in, wiggle it around, let it scrape the sides. You know, just kind of alternate your force around in a circle, I guess. Just let her do some scraping. This will any schmutz down inside there, if schmutz is a word. Don't look it up in the Urban Dictionary because it's probably not a good word. Most of it usually sticks to the flutes, you know, comes out on the end, and here's a little tap, a little dump, and then we'll give it a full douche down here off to the side. That was oddly satisfying. And I'll just do the same thing to this one. Oh yeah, this one you can feel the gummy stuff in there. I suppose you could use like a little wire brush or something, but I find that this method works pretty well. Like I say, all the junk gets stuck in the bit. Wipe her off there a little. Go back in for a second round. You can stick it in a drill if you're careful. I just don't trust myself. Clean up our area. Before you put the pins back in, you know, make sure there's no brake clean left in there, because if you're going to put some lube in there, you don't want it, you know, fighting with the brake clean. Ooh, that one's still a little snug in that hole. Oh, she fits fine over here. They are the same pin. That one's just a little bit snugger. Interesting. Oh, now she's happy. I'm gonna get a blow nozzle, blow out any little rust dust we have in there. Now that that is done, we want to make sure where our rubber goes in there, where they can accumulate rust and squeeze, we want to make sure that they are lubed to kind of prevent that. So we'll put a little lube on the rubber itself, and then around the edge of the hole where the rubber sits in there. Like I say, we're just going to try to keep that from rusting and squeezing the pin. Stick that in, rotate it, and also here around the head of the pin, this is where they rust, and then water gets in under the seal. So we put some lube there, hold it, don't overdo it. We'll work it. There we go. Let it burp out all the air if you can. And then when you're done, wipe off any mess we got around there. The pin should move freely. So let the rubber pop off, but in and out. Kind of like a little accordion. And of course, we're going to do the same thing on the other one. Don't really have anything else to talk about. I pulled out all the stops of my 80s rap songs, 90s. Trying to think of another one. There we are. So that's good. This glove really isn't doing much for me right now. So we're going to clean the mess off our brush. Got some lube back on that. We will lube up our bracket behind the caliper, or behind the caliper hardware, behind the brake pad hardware, behind the abutment clips. Come on! That'll keep it from getting rusty and squeezing our pads. Got some adaptive ones from Napper. Stick our clips on. Now these ones, they've got these little ears right here. Give them a little squeeze. Push them up towards the top. Right there. Push up towards the top of the bracket so the rotor doesn't hit them. They'll make really annoying squealing sounds if you don't do that. So pinch it. Give it a little push. And with the adaptive ones, specially formulated pads, inners and outers. Not a sponsor, but they label them for you. It's kind of handy, right? Are they definitely different formulations? Well, we may never know. They claim to be. About ready to give up on life. Here we go. Let's try this again, round 2. Now your brake pad should fit in the ears nicely and move back and forth. Whoa, I'm going to fall out here. And move back and forth easily. If yours don't, stop. Something is wrong. Either you didn't clean the rust off your bracket good enough, assuming you live in an area where there's rust, or you just got some really crappy brake pads. If you do, go get some better ones. So there's that. She's ready to rock and roll. Rock and roll. Reminds me of an AC/DC song. Rock and rolling noise pollution. That might be noise pollution though. Never claimed to be a singer, folks. Actually, I usually sing solo. So low no one can hear me. Unless I'm driving by myself, I'm rocking out. How did we get Skilo and Funkmaster Flex all in one video? And AC/DC. Did I just say Funkmaster Flex? It was Sir Mix-a-Lot. Now I want to sing this Funkmaster Flex song. Come on. Man. I'm going to have to get done with this video and crank up the jams. There we go. There we are. We need to pump up our brakes, check our brake fluid. Take it for a 2. Let's torque down here. Alright, got that torqued. Caliper moves nice and freely. Man, I made it through the whole show without dropping anything. Well, that's pretty much that, folks. Front brakes are on, installed. I'm going to pump up the brakes, torque the wheel to specs, go around, burnish in our new pads, return it to the customer, of course, after I do the rear wheel bearing, which is a pretty easy job on these. But now I have a hankering to have a long music marathon here at SMA, and to do that I've got to turn the camera off because otherwise you get in trouble on the YouTube. Anywho, go down to the comment box, leave your questions, comments, criticisms, concerns, all that business, and while you're down there, ring that bell, click subscribe, and do all that stuff that you normally do while you're down there. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.